The red car's gate stop astonished them. As the passenger door opened, the old man climbed out. Again, the automobile drove silently. After seeing a ghost, the family got pallid. They believed this was a cruel joke because too much time had elapsed. He wasn't. Romania's Bacău is recognized for its vibrant culture. The city's environs are mostly villages. Rural life was hard. Villagers mostly lived off cattle and farming. A remote village in eastern Bacău was devastated in 1991. Simple family man Vasil Gorgos. He commuted to the city to sell his cattle. He always returned a few days after his short trips. Vasil's family didn't know how long his goodbye would last this time. Vasil boarded a train for his business trip looking good for 63. Market fares never worried him. However, he failed to check in with his wife, indicating trouble. After initially not worrying, something was very wrong. Vasil's family worried as days passed without a word. Senseless. He always cared for his family. Romanians often abandon their duties. Vasil never seemed like that. More sinister evidence was emerging. The days were agonizing and the family became more anxious. Vasil was reported missing by police. If you like my videos, don't forget to like or subscribe. Thanks in advance. No sign after weeks. Vasil vanished, confounding the authorities. After losing hope, the family feared the worst. Weeks became months. Despite not knowing what happened to Vasil, the family suspected something terrible. Not knowing if he was kidnapped, lost, or hurt was tragic. They made a heartbreaking choice without proof. The Gorgos family held regular memorial services for him to cope with constant speculation. The whole village remembered their husband and father. Months became years. The family finally faced a painful truth. Vasil died tragically under legal pressure. Life without Vasil was hard, but his family had to move on. Time kept passing. Although the family grew, they never forgot Vasil. 30 years passed quickly, leaving Vasil a tragic memory. The family had to overcome their grief for the missing father. It continued. Their tragic tale became more unsettling. Bianca, Vasil's wife, was busy. She managed her husband's cattle and properties while grieving. She went from housewife to sole breadwinner in a flash. There was more. She had to care for her kids twice as much. She worried about raising them without their father all day and night. Her brothers and Vasils often visited the house and helped Bianca with anything she needed. This caused more issues. Small towns like Bianca's foster slander and rumors. Following a story, real or imagined, about someone they know is the easiest way to spice up most people's dull lives. Bianca received sympathy for weeks after her husband disappeared. That changed soon. Vasil's brothers' frequent visits to Bianca raised suspicions in town. Bianca needed help, and the man was her deceased husband's brother, so they may have had no reason to do so. Bianca's brother-in-law naturally offered to ease Vasil's loss. Supposedly. Some locals disagreed. Bianca's closeness to Vasil's brother was criticized, with some suggesting an affair. The village's conservative mindset may have disapproved of Bianca managing her late husband's properties and preferred her as a reclusive, perpetually grieving widow. Was that it? Bianca and Vasil's brother visited each other more and more, growing closer. He played with his nephews like a second father. Bianca's grief was seen as too quick. The widow didn't care about those rumors because she had too much to do. That soon changed. Bianca became hated in the village as rumors persisted. Every time she went to the marketplace, she was received with hostile stares. Some shops refused to serve her, and one time someone even spit on the ground after she walked by. Bianca immediately turned back, furious and ready to confront the rude man. She reconsidered. Was she able to enrage them? But worse was to come. Bianca and her children were in danger that night. She kissed and tucked them in after dinner. After a long day, she washed dishes in the kitchen. Suddenly, something chilled her. Bianca heard a crash and glass breaking behind her. Living room. She ran toward the scene and saw something that made her kneel. Rocks shattered her window. She opened the door and ran to find the culprit. The house's surroundings appeared empty. Bianca returned home terrified. Did that explain her town's hostility? How far could villagers smear? She slept worried. Should she call the police or just once? A few days later, something else happened. Bianca's phone rang one night. She assumed the delivery company would deliver her pesticides. She answered. But what she heard on the other side of the line wasn't what she expected. As a matter of fact, it was something nothing in the world could have prepared her for. After picking up the phone, she only heard heavy breathing and panting. Hello? Who's this? Her realization was chilling. Vasile's panting and breathing matched. She could have recognized it a million years later. Vasile? Are you? She asked. The caller then hung up. Bianca blanked after dropping the phone. What occurred? She informed Vasile's brother of the call first. Both went to police. The local police chief promised to send his agents back to investigate the disappearance. No news came. Bianca's rumors and hostility faded, and Vasile was forgotten. Once. Normal day. The family had given up on seeing Vasile again. A strange red car drove into the village. Old man exited the passenger door. Villagers and family were astonished. Vasile Gorgos was clearly older. Nobody could write down the car's registration number or see the driver before it drove off, stunned by the old man's return. Vasile was unmistakable at 73. His return was shocking, but not the biggest surprise. In another twist, Vasile returned wearing the same clothes as the day he disappeared. Family had many questions. No answers were found. When asked, Vasile believed it was 1991 and he had only been gone a few days. Stranger than fiction. Vasile Gorgos is proof. His story sparked nationwide speculation. Vasile's 30-year memory loss has many explanations. Dementia is the leading theory. Some experts have a more extreme theory. Some experts think Vasile was a fugue. This affliction might have caused him to experience a dissociative state, meaning he may truly believe that he was never gone. There are other Vasile theories. Internet users are speculating about his activities for years. I think he had a second family, left voluntarily, and never intended to return. One Reddit user speculates that his second partner died and he realized he was alone. Still, if that were true, someone would remember him from his second life and speak up. Maybe he moved out of Romania. It's not as mysterious as Mr. Gorgos claims. More theories exist. My theory. He went missing and ended up in a monastery. Orthodox Romania. If he stayed and worked, good monks might not question him. Once his mind went, the abbot arranged his return. Also possible he crossed the border into Moldavia, which is remote. Some have even crazier theories, like this, dimensional era. A Reddit user suggests he arrived home on time but decades later and looking old. Aliens kidnapped him. They returned him, jokes another. Your theory? What happened while Vasile was away, and what could explain his strange behavior after returning? Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.